there's a lot of people in your community that if they actually knew what chiropractic could do for them, the door out your practice would be lined with a lot of people looking for those solutions. They just don't know it's chiropractic that can help them. And so because we all don't have unlimited time every day to be out telling the chiropractic story in our community while adjusting people and running a team and figuring all the things that we have to do, this is where your patients really can become the arms and legs out in the community. Hello, and welcome to Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. This podcast is dedicated to chiropractors who are in the seasons of launching and building their practice. Join myself, Dr. Lona, and my co-host, Dr. Bobby, as we have conversations each week as it relates to building the practice of your dreams. And remember, you can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. We're here to lead you on the way. All right, welcome back to the Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. And I'm back on today with Dr. Rachel Hovey, who is in Minnesota. I was just on with Andrew. He's in winter. We are in summer sunshine, finally. Feels good.
Does feel good, doesn't it?
Yes. We need our suntan for about the 60 days that we get it up here.
For real.
Awesome. All right, we're going to jump right in. We're talking about one of the cornerstones of our practice growth, which should be our cultivation of sometimes the marketing that seems to get more of an unsexy lens, but is still so foundational, which is growing a referral-based practice and cultivating strong community connections. So Rachel, welcome to the show. Let's dive in.
Yes. I love talking about this because I think you're right. In the world of all the flashiness of AI and what's the new app and the next technology and the next hire, which those things are so important, but we do really forget how we can love up on the people that are in our doors, asking for referrals, asking for networking, and then our community as well. So I think we should talk about like in our patient base, like first, because I think that also gets overlooked as well. So I think one thing that we have done really well in our office, which has grown over the years, is just like having our ears open and not hesitating to be like, oh, quickly, can I grab their name and write it down? Or I love that, like just getting the information like right away from patients when you hear things, whether it's an event, it's, someone that we should know, it's, a talk that's happening in the community. We're always really good at just getting the information right away. I think a lot of times too, what can happen is we hear something and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, cool, I'll look into that. Or maybe we'll connect later on it. And then it never happened. So
That was really good what you just said there, for especially people who are new to their community, building their network, is for the people that already know, like, and trust you, lean on their networks to get networked into other people. And to Rachel's point, the speed of taking action on some of that. If somebody says, hey, there's this event coming up, you should check it out, go check it out, right? Like that's how you're going to start to plant some roots in your community. Or, we could take what you just said there too, of like, if somebody mentions, yeah, my brother has this issue. I think, of course, at minimum, we should be saying, well, we'd love to see your brother. Let's make sure he comes into one of your next appointments. But taking that to the next level is what she just did there. Well, what's his name? Would you like us to send him a text message from you and loop you guys together in so that he could have our paperwork digitally? Like there's doing it, and then there's doing it to the next level and also to the next speed, which you just demonstrated for us, is like taking it the one step further and then executing on it quickly. Right.
for sure. And you kind of have to train your team on that too, because as the doctor owner, like and maybe we don't at times either have that confidence, but sometimes you even need to role play that out. Role play, like, what does it look like? Like you just said, do you want us to do a 3-way text? That usually works best. And then we can, bring it from there. And that usually helps keep that conversation going. But yeah, making sure your team feels comfortable with handling that as well.
That's excellent. Yeah. Because as we are establishing our credibility in a community, some of that certainly is coming from the four walls of your practice and walking out chiropractic in a way that is noteworthy. So people leaving your practice saying like, you need to come see my new chiropractor, or, hey, this new practice opened up and I just went in and it was great. Their word of mouth is starting to spread. But then also like we need to learn who's doing business around us, right? So that's where this networking piece of external one-to-one marketing is still one of the best things I think any new practitioner can do is get a lay of the land. Who's who are you going to do a lot of business with? And you're not going to know that until you start to like circulate, get to different events in town, chamber events, rotary events, networking events, young professional events. It may feel like you're a politician, I think, at first, where you're going out and like holding babies and shaking hands and different things. And that's how you know you're doing it right. I think is like you look at your calendar and you've hopefully got things on it every single week. Uh,
Mhm.
and then what Rachel said too is like making sure from those events that you're following through with what comes out of that event, right? So I think that's where organization and teaching, if you're not the one maybe going to the events now, maybe you have a team member that's doing it, making sure that they understand how to follow up after event and make sure those leads and contacts go somewhere so that they stay in your pipeline of people who are now learning your brand, starting to become hopefully commonplace in interacting with you. And maybe that is a seed that's planted that doesn't germinate for
Mhm.
months or years, but this is part of strong external marketing is to be farming all the time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when like, when we first started networking, we created just a simple spreadsheet, and it was, like, what the owner, like, the name, just, like, little details, like, when we reached out to them, so we have, like, a list of, like, anything from PTs to physical therapists to or sorry, I said PTs, but massage therapists, the list just keeps growing, like, even the pediatricians in town and the doulas, and it just keeps going, 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 and I think another key part to that too is we always ask if can we add you to our email list so that they can get our like information going to them that helps them to learn like our culture and stuff like that too. And like you said, sometimes they don't refer for a month, a year, or 5 years, but they at least know your name and know where you are in the community too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you think about what you've learned, because even what you just said there of like having a spreadsheet where you're organized of like, hey, we need to refer to a massage therapist. Here's who we've met. Here's who we've seen personally, and if you have a team that's expanding with newer docs that are coming in that aren't well networked yet, like them getting to meet everybody that's on that list is a really smart part of getting them enmeshed in your culture and having them have credibility. When you
Mhm.
think about some of those action steps, what would you be telling a young chiropractor to be doing to get well networked externally in your community?
Well, number 1, I think when it comes to any networking, it's like do what's fun for you. Like
Mm,
do what clients like excite you, whether that is more, the gym end of things or, massage therapists, or is it more like the babies, doulas, moms? And it's
mhm.
really like creating that ideal avatar patient. And then it's like, now go find where they are. What do they do? Who do they hang out with? Like what excites you with those patients? Because I think sometimes people
Great
think
advice.
networking as like not cool, like super salesy, and it's like it does not need to be that way whatsoever. It can be fun. It can be building off peer connections of how you're helping people, how we can get together as a community. Anybody that's in a small business wants to connect with other like-minded small businesses. I mean, that's the ultimate thing with it. So, I think in the beginning, that was my mindset was just like, let's just have fun with it, right? Like sometimes it isn't fun to wake up on a Thursday for 2 hours and go different things, but like it can be too. And so I think that's number 1 my advice on it. Because I hear a lot of doctors say, "Oh, I don't really know. What if I could," and it's like it is what it is, you know.
Make it fun. Find something fun about it, right?
For
Yeah,
sure.
I agree. Yes. And there's equal parts of like, yes, choose like it's easier to network doing life and business around things you already want to be doing life and business around. And then there's those moments where it's like maybe you've chose where you're going to go for the week and the morning hits and you just don't feel that energized. Work the plan anyways. Like go, right? Go into it
Yeah.
and remember that like you're choosing this right now because you're choosing the pain of like, hey, I got to get up a little earlier. I got to show up and be personable and get out of my comfort zone so that I can grow the practice that I
Yeah.
want.
What
Uh,
would be your biggest advice to a young doc?
I think is first to recognize that it's not so different than doing well with a new patient is like
Mm.
when we're networking, it should be 80% of them talking and really learning about what lights them up and what do they do in their business. And I think the more that people feel understood, listened to, like you get them, they're much more likely to be interested in what you have to say and what you do. And so that street will go both ways, but you form a real connection, right? And if we don't form that connection, it is much less likely that we're going to form a long-term relationship that can become fruitful both ways. That's the idea, right? Is that we want to be sending a lot of referrals out to some of these of our favorite places that we do business with. So, I mean, there's like a NRT practitioner and an acupuncturist, and we
Mhm.
send so many people to these guys. They also send people back in for us, and that's the way strong relationships should work, is that we want to find people that we also know, like, and trust, and we want them to be also well established in their connection with us. So I think that's not something that can be hacked. I think it's true relationship building, and it
Mhm.
truly is this first layer is just getting to a lay of the land. So for the young docs, you're not necessarily going in for the quote unquote sale. You're going in first to learn, like to learn who's around your community, to learn who the best PTs are, to learn who the best functional medicine or whoever, right? And then as you get established in knowing who's who, that's when you can start to network in a different level, where it might be like you cross pollinate, or you have other campaigns you could do together, or you could do lunch and learns together. Different things start springing out of those connections, referrals, etc., because we laid a good, strong foundation based on like true
Mhm.
connection, right?
Yep. Nope, that's super fun, and we
Yeah.
do that in our office too. So we specialize a lot in pregnancy pediatrics. So once a quarter, we do a pregnancy. We call it a pregnancy talk, but it's like us, lactation doula, and pelvic floor therapist, and it's so much fun. And we just have learned to really respect each other, and again, stay in our lane with things, and it's awesome. So it's a great
Yeah.
one.
That's awesome. That's great. And do
Mhm.
you host it at your office all the time, or do you move
Yep.
it around? Okay.
Nope. Yeah, and half of them work out of my office, so that works out nice. But
Yeah.
it's just a great like become the hub of it. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yes. Love that. Yeah, that's awesome. I remember early on, and I had been going business to business, going to different meetings that were happening around town, obviously, like wanting to spread whatever version of our brand that we could, like one on one, one to many,
Yep.
through social media, etc. And someone has said to me, like, I see you everywhere. And I thought, yes, like that is, that is the goal, right?
Yeah, for
And
sure.
then as the practice gets busier, there's a period where a lot of times some of us when we don't have another doc yet in the office, we will pull back on some of what we were doing externally, partly just sheer amount of time we have available in our week, and yet we still want to be stirring the pot and all those connections we've made, and we just want to be really strategic about, like, yeah, what resources do I have still for these relationships that are happening externally? How do I keep top of mind? You even see how, like, some of these places that, for instance, we send a bunch of referrals to, we usually get like a Christmas gift from them, right? And I think like that's a really nice gesture. It's not like they're coming here, they're just sending something, but it keeps us in this rapport with them, where we know like they are thinking of us and grateful and appreciative, and we appreciate the service they offer our clients, and that's why we refer to them, right?
We actually I was that was gonna be another good point of mine too, is on the opposite end of that, we track every single referral that comes in our office, and we for like we'll send like flowers or cookies and things like that to people like at different times just to thank them. And you could imagine like people go like crazy for stuff like that when it's like it was just like a $50 like fruit basket, but they're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. But we all know like that when someone goes out of their way to do something small like that, it's just huge. So I also say like thank your referrals. I mean,
Mhm.
whatever your legal system is in your state with it, whatever, but, like,
Mhm.
you can still just give them a flowers and just be like, "We appreciate you in the community," right? And, like, that goes
100%.
really far for a lot of people.
Yep. Which
Mhm,
leads in nicely to the next part of this, which is like really recognizing as we grow, and let's say we're at 75 to 100 visits a week. I think Sigafus used to be the one that said once a practice reaches 75 visits a week, like we should naturally have this like really large pipeline that
mhm,
starts to churn of
yep,
people who are sending in their friends, their family, their loved ones for our care if we're doing a great job of stewarding care, right?
mhm,
Um, and so tracking, like Rachel said, like how many referrals are we getting? I don't remember who said this also, that 80% of your referrals come from 20% of your patients,
mhm,
right?
yep,
It seems to be true where you have some people who are like sending in gobs of people, and others who, they love their care, but they're just a little more quite tight-lipped with it, right? But so that's where, like, yes, having a way that We thank and appreciate our people who are referring, making sure that our systems encourage referrals and let people know we love to take care of their loved ones and their coworkers, and naturally in certain points in their care, handing them something to put in someone else's hands, doing anything that just naturally opens up that conversation for them to know that we're here to help them and help their people.
And I think all of us as chiropractors can probably step that up a little bit. I think we're always a little bit nervous, like, oh, I feel like we ask too much or we say too much, but we probably don't. And honestly, like these people like us and love us and trust us anyway. So like an extra ask isn't gonna be annoying to them. It's just them to have on their radar with things. And to your point, it's like you should have the systems and you should have the campaigns always constantly working as gears together. And that's where the drip becomes then just continuous as well. Mhm.
Yes. I think, several episodes ago, I had Dr. Mary Free on, so you know
Uh,
Dr. Free, yeah, and she's said this on our masterminds too of, like, how they do their 4-card Fridays or
yeah.
do they
Mhm.
hand and I think the key thing is recognizing, like, sometimes when we're either afraid to ask, it's an us thing. It's like,
Mhm.
we've gotta check ourselves first and recognize this isn't about necessarily getting new patients, right? This is about like there's a lot of people in your community that if they actually knew what chiropractic could do for them, the door out your practice would be lined with a lot of people looking for those solutions. They just don't know it's chiropractic that can help them. And so, because we all don't have unlimited time every day to be out telling the
Mhm.
chiropractic story in our community while adjusting people and running a team and figuring all the things that we have to do, this is where your patients really can become the arms and legs out in the community. But we have to many times empower them to do that, right? So, whether that's through the table talk and letting them know we love to help their friends and family, whether it's through campaigns going in the office or certain visuals in the office where the person is like, oh, you help that kid with ear infections and chiropractic problems? Like, I didn't know, like, 3 of my kids have had this, and I need to tell my girlfriends, and, it's
Mhm.
just like you think we're saying it enough, and you're like, "Well, haven't you been watching our social media or whatever," right? And I
Mhm.
realize, like, again, like, people have to see it so many times sometimes for it to really for them to recognize, "Oh, actually, I know someone I need to be bringing in here, and why haven't I thought of that before?" Right?
Mhm. That is such an excellent point. We all can think of that patient that's been adjusted for like 5 years, and all of a sudden they're like, "Do you guys adjust kids here?" And you're like, where
Have
have
you
you
not
been?"
Yeah.
But I think that's exactly it though, is we can't like just keep talking about keep that's why it is the little things that really drive that down to the table talk, to the whiteboard education. Like those are ways of asking for referrals too in such a like a passive way with things that people just sometimes overlook too.
Yes,
Mhm,
yes.
mhm,
Yeah, and in our TRP content, I know this hit me the first time I listened to it, was how detailed Dr. Franson's version of a new patient tour was in the office, right?
mhm,
When you watch that module. And that
mhm,
really was another like great underliner of like, we think we're being clear with people and telling them about subluxation and about how it affects the nervous system. And of course, anyone that has a nervous system, we can help. But how many times we need to point out exactly what we want people to see and hear, and the repetition of like
mhm.
showing them and giving their sensory experience of having so many things stacking them up to have that aha of like, wait, chiropractic could help my son, or wait, chiropractic, I need to make sure my husband gets here. Like, this is a now issue. It's just one of those things where we can't get lackadaisical with it because it's easy to do where we think, oh, we're doing a good job of that. And then we realize, no, that person just mentioned something that I should have done a better job of steering that conversation to help them understand what I heard in that conversation without
Mhm.
necessarily being pushy. It's about helping them because, again, it's not like we have commercials running on TV or the radio all the time explaining the detrimental effects of subluxation and go find your chiropractor, right? So
Right.
I think that's where our table talk, our social media, our
Mhm.
entire staff's comfort level of making a parlay to the front desk to schedule a new patient from a conversation that happened in the back office, like it's just really important. Mhm.
Very important. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
cool.
So action steps from this, I feel like from what Rachel said earlier is if you don't have a spreadsheet of your favorite places to refer to and your most, the people you should know because you're either going to be handing them referrals or they're likely maybe handing your team referrals, great actionable step is to get that spreadsheet laid out. It will help you in the future as you keep building that list, making sure we have tentacles out in the community, both from one-on-ones and one-to-many meetups where we're getting a lay of the land deeper in our community of who's who, and know that your patients are your legs and arms out there too to go and get people as long as we're talking to them about who we can help and that we'd love to help.
Perfect. I think lastly, I would say is training your team on how to handle someone saying, my friend, my cousin, my husband, and what that looks like, and taking action on it right away. I think that also everybody can step up on that and just make it like get them on the schedule.
Yep. Beautiful. That's great. All right, Rachel, I know I will have you back in a month or so, and I hope you get some sunshine today. I sat outside and took one of my meetings out. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was great.
Only us Midwesterns understand.
Yes, that's right. All right. Have a
Thank
great
you.
afternoon. Yeah. Bye, hon. Hey everyone, please listen in for this next bonus interview of one of our remarkable success partners. They all help us help more people find the benefits of chiropractic. So listen on.
Hello, remarkable CEOs. This is Dr. Eric DiMartino here. I'm a TRP coach, and I'm excited today to be in studio with Dr. Dan RuitenBeek from Shockwave Centers of America. So, welcome to the podcast, Dr. Dan.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So, please tell the audience a little bit about you and what your business does.
Sure. So I'm a chiropractor, graduate from Life University, and I am now the owner of Shockwave Centers of America. We do everything from build and develop high quality devices. We also support companies who already have devices that need more implementation and business strategy. And that's our role, is to make sure that we can make shockwave therapy available to patients. And we have to do that through great training and support for the providers who are hosting that in their office. So we do a little bit of everything.
Great. For those out there that don't know exactly what Shockwave is, could you take a few minutes to explain exactly what it is and what it does?
Of course, yeah. So Shockwave has been around about 40 years now. It is a very European therapy that's kind of slowly made its way over the pond. But what it is, it's a chronic pain management strategy or a regenerative technology. So the goal is not just pain therapy. Our goal is to recondition joint tissue, muscle tissue, tendons, and ligaments, and make sure that they're healing to the best of the body's ability. And we do that through stimulating cofactors and hormones in the tissue through sound waves, which are gentle and not painful, in order to get the body to respond and say, hey, this is an area that needs attention. We need more blood flow, more collagen, all kinds of stuff that we need to actually heal and repair tissue. And it gives a great opportunity to keep patients in the house without having to offload them to an orthopedist. This is a great place to start before it's an injectable situation or a surgical situation. I can use something that the body can take information from, i.e., those sound waves, and do something biologically important, which would be repair.
And as chiropractors, we know that the body heals itself, right? And so I love that you have a tool that just assists the body with that, right? It supports that process and speeds it up so people can recover faster. That's great.
The goal is to, I like to shockwave is the most chiropractically friendly therapy to introduce into practice, because it doesn't take over the message of what we do, as you said. The same goal is in mind, is we are here to support the body in what it does best, which is heal and repair, without going so far to create a new problem. And so it's very safe, very effective for everybody from, young teens all the way up into their 90s. They can do shockwave, but it adds an element to the practice that we might not have a great solution for, or you might not have time to do. And that would be the extremity issues, osteoarthritis, rotator cuff injury, stuff that our patients all will come to us for, but we don't necessarily have the perfect solution for yet. So Shockwave will fill in that gap for us as best we can.
It's very valuable. And like you said, we don't want to lose consumers to orthopedics or other docs. We want to keep them in-house and give them that chiropractic vitalistic approach whenever possible. That's great.
Exactly. That's the goal.
Yeah. And as all our listeners know, we always talk about, as CEOs, we always want a positive ROI on any services that we utilize in our offices. So how do you guys provide a positive ROI for docs?
Yeah, that's one of the challenges that we find in the marketplace. And one of the reasons that we exist as a company is that shockwave devices were too expensive to make an ROI from without having to wait many years to do so. So our devices, they're designed to be quick ROI devices. So you're talking anywhere from 7,000 all the way to 25,000 is our range of devices. And reason being is that within 3 to 6 months, 90% of our people have paid off the machines, and everything else is going to be ROI positive from there. The other thing that we don't think about is the long-term portion of the ROIs. Is I'm keeping somebody in the house. I'm not sending them out to an orthopedist, because we know if we get them into their sphere, they might say that chiros are weirdos and they're going to kick them over to the PTs, and like, you don't need to see the chiro anymore because you're doing this with me and then that with the PT. And so we lose a lot of people that way. This keeps them in the house, shows them that you're there for them and you have a solution for some of these problems. And that'll also add to the ROI portion of things. But my favorite part of it is that for most states, and it's going to see it in all states pretty soon, is that the staff members will be able to run the device for you. And so you can just keep doing chiropractic because you're the only one in the office that can do that, or whatever associates you may have too. But it keeps that part unique, and we can have the staff run the Shockwave for you. And now you're doubling down on your available slots during the day, and you can see more people in that same time frame without having to double your own volume.
Yeah, that's huge because not only do we want a positive ROI financially, but also on our time, right? And
Yeah.
so it's great that now it can be staff driven. So our doctors, we always talk about leverage, right? To be successful, we have to leverage the best we can through using people, systems, technology. And so when we can leverage our team members to provide this valuable service, it takes a lot of off the doctor's plate. So I'm glad to hear that that's coming down the pipe. That's great.
I was going to say most states are able to do it already. There's just a select few that we'll go through it if somebody's interested in adding it, and make sure that that's something that's legal at the moment, that they can do it. But it's such a big add to the practice because you don't have to worry about, oh, when can I fit this in around my adjustments? No, they come in if they need it that day. Again, you have a staff member trained or multiple staff members trained in it, and now a staff member who's usually just overhead costs, they're now a value adding part of the practice.
Yeah, it's huge. So, for doctors that maybe have never been exposed to this or don't understand it, I would assume you guys have some sort of training system to help docs implement this, create protocols, even possibly market it. Could you speak to that?
Yeah, arguably more important than the device itself is the implementation part of it. So the education is big. We want everybody who's going to use the device know how to do it properly, of course, but also know how to sell this to your clientele, right? Where does this fit into their care model? Is this something that's a good fit for them or not? And so that's part of our day one training, and we have access to a huge library of training videos as well that they can access at any time. We have a CA specific training. It's a 4-hour course that they can take and get certified through Shockwave Centers of America. So you don't have to take that on yourself as the provider. Providers can take the course too if they're totally fresh and new into the world of Shockwave. It's a great place to start and understand the fundamentals and how this works and how to implement it. And then we're there. We also have a Facebook group, just like you guys do, for all of our providers who have clinical questions. Like, hey, I have a case that's not responding the way I would like to. You have the collective brain of over 1,500 other offices that are using Shockwave that could jump in and say, hey, have you tried X, Y, or Z? Because I've been doing this 18 years in the world of Shockwave, but still I haven't seen everything under the sun. And so we may as well leverage all the other people using the therapy and be able to help our people as most we can.
Great. It's great to have that company support from you guys, but also the peer support where you got, colleagues can get together and brainstorm on better ways to use the technology. So that's great. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so there's a lot of services out there, kind of like what you guys do. So why should the listeners choose your company over all the others?
I would say education is the biggest part, is because the more you understand the therapy, the better you're going to be able to use this in your practice and leverage it as a tool. I teach CE courses, so you're learning from people who do this for a living now. I just recently left my own private practice, and I do Shockwave 100% of the time. And so being able to bounce ideas back and forth, use our technology that we have, as well as our care plan design and our protocols, those are the IP part of it. Because Shockwave works regardless of what company you get it from. And we support a ton of people who have other devices too, because they don't get that support that they need from those manufacturers. So we started as a support group first, or as a consultant firm first. So you get that element of it. And then we added devices to help support what we're trying to achieve, which is affordable and manageable shockwave therapy within the chiropractic clinic.
Great. Yeah, need that support. So I'm sure a lot of listeners now are interested, they're intrigued. What is the best next step for our listeners to connect with you guys and learn more about how you can help them?
The discovery call is the most important because not every office is fit for Shockwave yet, potentially. And the type of device that you go with is going to mean a lot. And so we have to make sure we know what kind of practice we're dealing with before we recommend a type of device. And if you have the staff in place and if you have the systems in place, which is why, your clients are really great suit for us because we usually already come with systems and we're just implanting Shockwave into those systems. Some clients that come to us, they have no idea what they're doing. We have to start from scratch and be like, okay, cool. Before we even put a device in there, who's going to be managing it? Do you have the paperwork already? Do we need paperwork? All that kind of fun stuff. So the discovery call is really important. It's 20 minutes of just back and forth, understanding the practice and seeing where Shockwave may fit for them. And then we'll make a recommendation from there moving forward.
And how would they get that discovery call set up?
Straight from shockwavecenters.com, or they can direct email me. Dr. Dan at shockwavecenters.com is an easy one as well.
Perfect. So listeners out there, if you're interested in being able to expand your ability to help people and also drive more profit to your business, I would suggest reaching out to Dr. Dan and his team and seeing if it's a good fit for you. So I want to thank you, Dr. Dan, for being on here with us. I want to thank you for being a success partner with Remarkable Practice. You help us further our mission of helping our docs help more people. And for all you CEOs out there, make sure you tune in each week. Every Tuesday, a new episode drops. And I hope you all have a blessed week, and we'll see everyone next week. Take care, Dr. Dan.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like the podcast, please subscribe, share with your friends, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, please click the links in the show notes to schedule a call.